Hey, and welcome back to the podcast. This is Jason with J.Allen Photography, and we are sitting pretty here in the middle of May, getting ready to talk photography on episode 20 of Talk Time. Episode 20. So I honestly will be brutally honest up front. I have nothing planned for this episode. I am not stressed, but I am definitely out of time. I don't have a whole lot of time to be doing extra stuff. I've got quite a few sessions that I need to get edited, some big like volume type sessions, so a lot of images, little time, that kind of thing. Again, it's fun, it's different, it is nice pay for those volume gigs, but just don't have a lot of free time this time of year. And I don't know fully what it is, but I've just kind of been lagging behind as far as my photography extracurriculars, meaning the podcast, meaning the YouTube channel. I'm still getting stuff out. The problem is I'm like pushing to get them out. So here it is. This airs tomorrow, and I'm trying to get it shot, and it's 2 p.m. already in the afternoon, so I've got to get it shot or recorded and edited, which it doesn't take too long to edit the podcast, but it still is time that I'm not actually working on images. And that's one of the things that you kind of have to deal with, or at least I've had to deal with over the last year and a half of doing this, whether it's now the podcast or with the YouTube channel. It's just extra stuff. And, it does take away time. I mean, it's just an extra added thing that I've put onto my calendar. And, but my goal is to do one every week. And I don't want to just let it go just because it's inconvenient. I think all too often, we can put things down, or we can put things back, or we can hold off because something is inconvenient. I do that all the time with exercise. I'm not going to do it because I just don't feel like it's too hot. I don't get on my bicycle a lot. And one of the big reasons is two reasons. It's windy or it's hot. Well, it's summertime, dude. It's going to be hot. Spring or fall, it's windy because you've got fronts blowing through. And so, it's easy to make excuses and to not do things, but I don't want to do that with my photography. I don't want to do that with my YouTube channel, and I definitely don't want to do it with the podcast. So, full disclosure, right? Again, it's 2:00 and Monday afternoon. This thing airs tomorrow. So that is what it is. And, I honestly don't know, when I look at, and I'm not trying to compare, I'm really not trying to compare, but when I look at some of the big YouTubers that I follow, I do often wonder, what else do you do? And I think most of them are doing YouTube full time, and I'm not doing YouTube full time. Really, my full time is my photography. Now, I've been trying to build the YouTube, been trying to build the podcast, but I'm not full-time doing those. So it literally is extra stuff that I've got to get finished every week for building the platform, building the brand, right? And so that's, it's enjoyable. I love it. I'm definitely not complaining, but it is just added stress, good stress, I think, to my calendar. So I don't know how long this podcast will actually be. I don't want it to be a 5 and done, so I want it to be a little bit longer. But again, just letting you know, full disclosure, I do have stuff that I've really got to be getting to as far as work. And one of the things is I've got extra time away this time of year where I typically don't. I really try not to take any breaks this time of year as far as like vacation or time off. Mainly because it is my busy time of year. And so, as you know, if you listened last week, I did just return from a vacation, and it was my wedding anniversary vacation. So, it's something that you need to do, is to celebrate those events and to take that time off. I even, have talked about it a few weeks ago that you've got to take time off, you've got to reset. But it's just hard sometimes. It really is just hard sometimes. My wife had some time available. I had a little bit of time that I thought was available. And I'm still super stoked that we went and just had the best vacation with her. But it does slow me down. It does kind of put me behind the schedule a little bit. And so this coming week, as you're listening to this, basically I'm leaving Thursday morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning. We're driving to Colorado because my brother-in-law is getting married, and just absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to go. He's in Colorado Springs. He's a doctor there, and we absolutely love his fiance, and just super stoked that we get to go and be part of it. But again, it's taking a whole weekend away from me. Not necessarily that I can shoot, because most of my shooting for my seniors is finished. Most of my last minute, because I've built in, knowing that I'm going to be out of town. So everybody that's needs to get scheduled or that has contacted me, I've been able to get onto the calendar and fit into the calendar. But I've got these days where, like, all day Thursday now, I cannot edit. There's no way for me to edit anything. And it's about a 13-hour drive there. So, we're leaving at like 3 o'clock in the morning, probably be there by 6 or 7 p.m., maybe 5 or 6 due to the hour loss going that way. So, yeah, I lose Thursday. I might be able to get a little bit of editing done that night. So I'm working while we're doing this. I've got editing that I've got to get done Friday morning. We've got the rehearsal dinner Friday night, wedding on Saturday. So I know already my wife is not going to be like super stoked if I'm like, hey, I got to get this stuff edited. But I've got to get this stuff edited. So then Sunday we get to kind of chill a little bit. But here's the other thing too. This is a big event, and all of our family, or all of her family, is going to be there. My brother-in-law and his wife, soon-to-be wife, they're not going to actually like leave that next day. They're leaving in a couple days. So we're probably going to do something pretty big as a family on Sunday, which means I can't do any work on Sunday either. And then Tuesday or Monday is really the only other day that we kind of have there. And I think there's already plans going on for what we're going to be doing on Monday. And of course, my podcast comes out on Tuesday. So here we are on Monday, the 20th, and I need to record for tomorrow, and basically I need to get next week's done as well. But I might end up having to do that in Colorado, and I'll probably just I guess maybe I can hook this up to my laptop and record from there, or I might just use different microphones and record from there. But I really don't want this to sound like I'm complaining or anything like that. I'm just kind of telling you, hey, this is kind of like a day in the life or a week in the life of a senior photographer who's not really stressed, but doesn't really have the time to do what he needs to do or has created for himself to do. And of course, that doesn't even include the video that I have not edited yet that needs to be pushed out for view on Wednesday. And I, of course, don't have the video done for next Wednesday either. So I'm looking at trying to do a quicker video just inside, probably, well, I guess I don't know when it's going to have to be, but I'm going to have to try to get it done sometime before tomorrow night so that I can get it uploaded. And by the way, I've still got a bunch of photos I've got to edit, and I've got 3 sessions between now and Wednesday. That's 1 tonight and 2 tomorrow. So that really does limit how much time I actually have to be able to be doing anything outside of photography. So it is what it is. It's fun. There's going to be a point in time where I don't get to do that, or, it's not there. And I say enjoy it while it's here, right? It's fun. It's different. It's keeping me on my toes. And I do truly, truly enjoy it. Progress report from January. When I started January, I talked about losing weight. Again, not that this has anything to do with photography, but I really didn't start tracking anything until February 20th, which was about 5 weeks after I had set my goal. But from February 20th to now, I'm at like 18 pounds lost, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'll tell you, one of the best things that you can hear when you're doing a journey like that is when people actually notice. And I know that I've actually posted a couple pictures of me and some of my senior reps into my Instagram stories, and people are commenting, hey man, you look great work on the weight loss. So, if you've got people that are going through that, or if you're going through that, man, be sure to give them their props. It's It's not easy. I find also that it's a little bit more difficult the older that I get. Here I am, almost 49, and it's a little bit more difficult to do than it is when you were, or than it was when you were like 25 to 30. Not that I even really cared about dropping weight at that point, but here I am, 49 almost, and like, man, I gotta drop some weight. So pretty close to actually my intermediate goal, and my hope would be to maybe be 10 pounds less by November, which is actually when my daughter's getting married. So that's the hope, is to just kind of get down maybe another 10 pounds or so, right around there. It's really cool, again, because my whole family's kind of involved in this weight loss thing. And, I was talking to my wife about it the other day, and I think it is difficult sometimes when just one person does it. A lot of times I would do these yo-yo diets, and not only would they're not necessarily good for you, but I kind of would get a little bit cranky sometimes, and so of course that affects my wife. But if I'm eating something specific and she doesn't want to eat that, well, I'm kind of forcing that lifestyle to her. And so I think, when not everybody's involved, it can create kind of animosity, not necessarily a bad animosity, but, just against each other, or an odds type thing. And plus, if maybe she's dropping weight and I'm not, I'm getting a little pissy because I'm not losing the weight, or vice versa, or whatever it is. It's been really cool because the three of us, me, my wife, and my daughter, have all been on this weight loss journey this year. And so far, in the 5.5 months that we are into this year, combined, we've lost about 70 pounds, which, man, I think that's freaking incredible. I would have never guessed that at the beginning of the year. So set those goals, man. Make sure that you're attaining those goals. Just following back up with that. Well, I think it was the episode 2 of the podcast, but I'm sorry, episode 20 isn't like a big spectacular thing, but 20 episodes, that is pretty cool. I just kind of felt like, I don't have something full on that I need to discuss or wanted to discuss. So I just kind of wanted to give you where I'm at right now. Something that I've always really tried to do with my photography on my YouTube channel, with my clients, and with the podcast, is be real, be who I am, and I don't need to be anybody else. And I think that's important. I think that actually shows, and I think people realize that, but I really like to be upfront with who I am, and I don't have things all together. Social media a lot of times, or at least what people put on their social media, is really a facade. It's not real life. And so it's always like we're dating everybody that we see, or everybody that we follow or follows us on social media, because we're putting our best foot forward a lot of times. And, it is what it is, but I think that people need to see the reality of who each of us is. And this podcast actually has really, truly allowed me to do that, even more so than the YouTube channel. I have so enjoyed doing the YouTube channel, but it's just a different avenue. This one here allows me to speak freer. Not that I'm like held up or censored or anything, but I'm just saying this is straight up me talking. And so it just allows me to kind of get what's on my brain off, get what's on my chest off and out. Whether it's one person listening to it, or 100 people listening to it, or however many people listening to it. I mentioned last week that 2 weeks ago also, that I was going to try to get this onto other platforms. And unfortunately, that's not happening yet. I just don't have the time to put into, and it's not even a whole lot of research. I kind of know what I'm supposed to do, but I just don't have the time, or I haven't made the time to sit down, because I still know I can get this done. My schedule really starts to clear up that first week of June. Unfortunately, I'm going to be traveling again back up to Colorado for another week and a half. But that should allow me to get everything caught up. I'm hoping to actually get 1 or 2 sessions in while I'm in Colorado, plus a YouTube video, so we can see some different scenery, man. Shooting with the Rockies in the background, I think, would be really cool. Maybe shooting something from close to the Garden of the Gods or whatever it is, that would be fantastic. So, just a whole lot on my plate right now. And, I know every photographer has that. Every photographer has their busy period of year, their busy time of year, and they all have their lulls. So how do you deal with your busy periods? What are you doing to not be overwhelmed? I feel like I'm a little bit whelmed right now. I don't know that I'm fully overwhelmed, but I'm definitely whelmed. So what do you do when you're kind of in that stage? One thing I know is I probably am not as before I went on my anniversary trip, I was a little bit more organized with kind of where I was at, but I feel like I've been scrambling since. So I need to kind of get back to my organization and start getting things out. For the longest time, I had about 7 videos out already scheduled for YouTube, and because of the busy period, and I do that on purpose, because of my busy period, I'm not actually able to shoot new videos every week, and so I try to get a log of them ready to go. I'm basically at the end of that log. So I've got other videos shot. I just need to get them edited, but we will see. I don't know that I'm going to have time to really put in an effort to get that edited video that I wanted to get out this week done, mainly because, so a lot of times the videos that you actually see in my YouTube channel, I've edited some of the photos already, but as I start going through the video, I end up seeing more photos that I want to include in the video. So it's not just cutting the video together for YouTube. I'm actually having to do more editing. And so I end up editing maybe 5 to 10 more images, but that slows down the edit time. And, it just makes it take a little bit longer. So yeah, time, right? Time is constantly slipping. What's that song? Time keeps on slipping, right? So that's where I'm at. I'm just, my time is fleeting at the moment. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not super stressed, but I do have stuff that I've got to get done. So please, if you're listening to this, feel free to give me some comments on what you do to stay stress-free, or to stay calm, or to relax a little bit in those busy periods. How do you handle that? I would love to know, and if people read the comments, maybe it helps them out, but feel free to leave a comment what you do in the stressful times to kind of just keep that even keel and keep moving forward, right? Because that's all it's about, is keep moving forward. Don't stop, don't stagnate. So I think that's really all I've got for this episode. It's a shorter episode, but again, just kind of wanting to be real with you guys and let you know where I'm at and what's going on in the photography world of J.Allen Photography. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. This is episode 20. I felt like for sure I would definitely get this many episodes in, but I don't feel like I realized, man, it takes a little bit more work than what I thought. It's been fun. It's been different. We're not even halfway through with the year. So 20 episodes in, what is it? When I get to like 26 weeks, that's halfway done. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've got some other big events coming up this year, as far as, daughter getting married. So that's going to be a little bit stressful. Plus it's happening in the fall, when, again, another busy period is for me. But, you just take it in stride and just continue to enjoy what you do, because there's going to come a point in time where you're not going to be able to do it, where I'm not going to be able to do it. And, am I going to miss that? What am I going to feel with that time? And so just enjoy all that fun time, even if it's stressful, whatever it is, enjoy that time and make the best of it. So thank you again for listening, watching, however you're getting this. Hopefully soon I will be getting this out to iTunes, Spotify, wherever else you might be listening to podcasts. But remember, check out my YouTube channel. We've got new videos every Wednesday, and a new podcast comes out every Tuesday. And until next time, keep shooting.